For millions of people, one dinosaur stands above all others as the ultimate movie monster. Fast. Intelligent. Ruthless. A predator that could open doors, hunt in groups, and terrorize anything unlucky enough to cross its path. Hollywood turned it into a legend. But there is just one problem. Almost everything people think they know about this dinosaur is wrong. Because the creature made famous on screen was not the terrifying giant most audiences remember. It was smaller, lighter, feathered, and far more scientifically fascinating than the version Hollywood sold to the world. This is the real story of the Velociraptor, the dinosaur cinema transformed into a myth. And what actually happened may be even more interesting than the fiction. The Velociraptor has become one of the most recognizable dinosaurs in history. Even people with no interest in paleontology know the name. That level of fame is rare. Most extinct animals remain trapped in museums, textbooks, and scientific journals. But Velociraptor escaped all of that. It entered mainstream culture. It became a symbol of prehistoric danger. And for decades, the public image of this animal was shaped less by fossils, and more by film. To understand how that happened, you have to go back to where the real Velociraptor was first discovered. Not in North America. Not near Tyrannosaurus rex. And definitely not in the dense jungle-like settings that movies made popular. Its remains were found in Mongolia, in the Gobi Desert, during the early 20th century. This alone already destroys one of Hollywood's biggest distortions. The real Velociraptor did not live alongside T-Rex. The two animals were separated not only by geography, but by time. They lived in different places and in different eras. Yet cinema pushed them together so effectively that millions of viewers came away assuming they were natural rivals from the same world. That is the power of storytelling. If a movie presents something with enough confidence, people stop questioning it. And that is exactly what happened here. The name, Velociraptor, sounds dramatic. It sounds sharp. Dangerous. Memorable. And that was part of why it became so appealing to filmmakers and writers. But the real animal behind the name was very different from the towering predator shown on screen. In reality, Velociraptor was much smaller. It was not man-sized. It was not towering over humans. It was not a giant reptilian assassin stalking hallways and kitchen floors. An adult Velociraptor was roughly the size of a large turkey or a very lean wolf, depending on how you imagine it. It measured only around 1.5 to 2 meters in length, stood low at the hips, and weighed far less than most people would ever expect. That means the movie version was massively exaggerated. Hollywood did not just stretch the truth. It rebuilt the animal entirely. The famous on-screen raptors were closer in size and build to another dinosaur, Deinonychus, a larger relative that actually fit the movie monster image much better. But Velociraptor sounded better. It felt more dramatic. So the name stayed, even while the science was left behind. And with that one decision, an entire generation inherited a false image of one of paleontology's most famous predators. But size was only the beginning of the inaccuracy. The real Velociraptor was not a naked, scaly creature like the one audiences remember. It almost certainly had feathers. That fact alone changes everything. Because the moment feathers enter the picture, the classic Hollywood image begins to collapse. Instead of a smooth-skinned reptilian killer, the real Velociraptor starts to look more like a strange, highly specialized predatory bird. And scientifically, that makes perfect sense. Velociraptor belonged to a group of dinosaurs closely related to birds. Over time, fossil discoveries from related species revealed clear evidence of feathers. Even more importantly, scientists found physical markers on Velociraptor fossils themselves that strongly suggest feathers were attached to parts of its body. So no matter how iconic the movie monster became, the evidence pointed in another direction. The real animal was feathered. Not because scientists wanted it to be, but because the fossil record kept leading there. This matters because feathers do more than change appearance. They change behavior, movement, and how we imagine the animal functioning in its world. Feathers suggest insulation, display, brooding behavior, and deeper evolutionary connections to birds. They make Velociraptor feel less like a fantasy reptile and more like what it truly was. A highly specialized predatory dinosaur living at the edge of the bird-dinosaur transition. And then there is the weapon that made Velociraptor famous. The sickle-shaped claw. This curved claw on the second toe became one of the most iconic dinosaur features ever discovered. Hollywood noticed it immediately. It turned that claw into a cinematic symbol of terror. A knife-like tool for slashing open prey in dramatic fashion. That image was effective. But again, the reality appears more complex. Not theory. Not guesswork. Behavior frozen in stone. And what it suggested was not random theatrical slashing, but a more targeted and controlled method of attack. The claw may have been used to pin, puncture, and grip vulnerable areas rather than simply tear wildly through flesh. That makes the real animal no less dangerous. In fact, it makes it more impressive. Because instead of being a mindless cinematic monster, Velociraptor appears to have been an efficient predator using specialized anatomy with precision. That precision is what made it formidable. Not size. Not brute force. Design. Its body was built for mobility. Its legs were long and light. Its skeleton was relatively slender. Its tail helped maintain balance. Everything about it suggests an animal that relied on agility and speed. This was not a giant bone-crushing predator like T-Rex. It was a smaller hunter built for quick movement, fast strikes, and calculated attacks. And that difference matters. Hollywood often confuses danger with size. But in nature, some of the most effective predators are not the biggest. They are the most efficient. Velociraptor was dangerous because it was optimized. Its jaws were lined with sharp, serrated teeth. Its hands could grasp. Its feet carried lethal claws. Its senses were likely well suited for hunting. And all of this came packaged inside a relatively compact, flexible body. That is what makes the real animal so compelling. It did not need to be gigantic to be effective. It already had everything it needed. Another major Hollywood invention was the idea that Velociraptor hunted in coordinated packs like wolves. This image became one of the defining features of its pop culture reputation. The intelligent team hunter. The dinosaur that planned. Surrounded. Communicated. Outsmarted. It made for great tension on screen. But the fossil evidence for true pack hunting in Velociraptor is weak. That does not mean the animal was incapable of occasional interaction with others of its kind. Velociraptor did not need human-like strategy to survive. It only needed the instincts and adaptations evolution had already given it. And those were powerful enough on their own. The habitat it lived in also deserves attention. The real Velociraptor came from an environment very different from the lush, humid worlds many films imply. It lived in what is now the Gobi Desert region, a place that in the late Cretaceous was still harsh, dry, and ecologically demanding. This was not a cinematic jungle maze. It was a real prehistoric landscape shaped by survival pressures, limited resources, and constant competition. That environment likely influenced the animal's behavior. A predator in such a setting could not waste energy. It had to be effective, flexible, opportunistic. And that may be why evidence suggests Velociraptor was not only a hunter, but also willing to scavenge when necessary. Like many successful predators, it probably did not live by strict categories. It used opportunity. It adapted. It took what the environment offered. That is how real animals survive. Not through constant heroic battles like movies prefer, but through efficiency. Through timing. What remains is a clash between science and storytelling, between fossil evidence and fiction. Strip away the exaggeration, and something even more impressive appears, a fast, efficient, highly specialized predator shaped by evolution, not imagination. Hollywood didn't discover Velociraptor. It reinvented it. And the real story proves something powerful: reality doesn't need exaggeration to be incredible. If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.